Have you looked down lately and felt a quiet panic? Maybe you didn't say it out loud, but something's different. Your penis looks smaller, feels softer, takes longer to respond, or doesn't respond at all. And the most disturbing part? You can't explain it. You didn't do anything wrong, but something's changed. I'm a men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience treating age-related decline in men. And I'm here to tell you something most men never hear. This is real. It's not in your head. And it's not just aging. What's happening to your body and your manhood is physical, measurable, and for many men, reversible. You see, after 60, your penis begins to go through a series of changes no one ever warned you about. Not just hormones or desire, but actual structural shifts in blood flow, tissue tone, and support muscles. It doesn't happen all at once. It sneaks in quietly, over months, even years, until one day you notice, and it hits you. But here's the good news. If you spot the signs early, if you understand what's really happening underneath the surface, you can stop the decline and even begin to restore what's been lost, naturally, without surgery, without pills. In this video, I'll walk you through the subtle signs to watch for, the real causes of shrinkage after 60, and the proven strategies I give my own patients to rebuild size, strength, and confidence. If this topic hits home for you, I want to hear from you. Click like, hit subscribe, and comment below with 1 if you're ready to take back control, or 0 if you've been unsure and need more answers. Either way, you're not alone, and you're not broken. So let's start with the biggest myth of all, because what you think you lost might just be hidden, not gone. Let's take a closer look, because for most men over 60, what appears to be shrinkage isn't actually loss. It's illusion, a trick your body is quietly playing on you. You haven't necessarily lost inches. You've lost visibility. Here's what I mean. Your penis hasn't pulled back. Your body has pushed forward. As fat builds up in the lower abdomen and around the pubic bone, it begins to press down on the base of the shaft, making it look shorter. But the length is still there. It's just hidden beneath the surface. Think of it like this. It's not a broken sword. It's a sword buried deeper in the sand. That's not all. As we age, we naturally lose muscle tone, including the tiny support muscles around the pelvic region. The result? Your penis doesn't stand the way it used to. The angle changes, the base looks less defined, and that adds to the illusion of shrinkage. Add in softer skin, reduced blood flow, and slight postural changes, and it's no wonder so many men feel like something's vanishing, even though it's still there. This isn't just about how it looks, it's about what it does to your confidence, your identity, and your sense of masculinity. Because when the mirror lies to you, you start to believe it. But here's the hopeful part. Once you understand the mechanics behind the illusion, you can start to reverse it. And the first step is recognizing what's causing it. So let's go deeper, literally, starting with the hidden layer of fat that sits quietly at the base of the shaft and steals up to 1.5 inches without a sound. Let's talk about the real thief of size, the pubic fat pad. It's a small, soft layer of fat that sits right above the base of the penis, and most men don't even know it exists. But here's the shocking truth. Just 10 to 15 extra pounds around your waist can bury up to 1.5 inches of visible length. Let that sink in. You didn't lose that length. It's just been pushed inward, hidden beneath a soft cushion of fat that slowly builds up with age, poor circulation, and hormonal decline. Now, this isn't about body shaming. Far from it. I've treated fit men with this issue, and heavier men without it. What matters here isn't the number on the scale, it's where the fat settles. And for men over 60, that lower belly shelf is the perfect storm. Testosterone drops, insulin sensitivity worsens, and the body begins to store fat in the lower abdomen, compressing the very base of your manhood. I've seen men lose size without losing function, but emotionally, that disappearance is devastating. They feel embarrassed with their partner. They avoid mirrors. They pull away from intimacy, not because they've stopped caring, but because they're no longer confident. One man told me, "Doc, it's like part of me just vanished." And he wasn't talking about sensation. He meant identity. But here's the hope. This type of loss is the most reversible. Studies show that every 10 to 15 pounds of fat lost in the pubic region can restore up to 1.5 inches of visible shaft. No surgery, no supplements, just real, natural visibility regained. And that's just one piece of the puzzle, because even with perfect weight, if your testosterone is crashing, your performance will too. Let's move on to the next hidden factor, the quiet hormonal decline that starts years before most men notice it. Even if your weight is under control, there's another silent culprit shrinking your confidence: testosterone decline. Most men don't feel it at first. There's no loud alarm, just a slow fade. A little less energy, a little less drive, a little more hesitation in moments that used to feel effortless. But under the surface, your testosterone, the very hormone that fuels male vitality, is quietly dropping. It starts in your 30s. By your 60s, levels can be less than half of what they once were. And when testosterone goes down, everything changes. Blood flow weakens, muscle tone softens, sensitivity fades, erections feel weaker or disappear altogether. And it's not just physical. Testosterone affects mood, focus, motivation, even how you see yourself as a man. I had a patient named Carlos, 66 years old, retired firefighter, tough guy, strong mindset. But when he came into my office, he looked down and said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I haven't for years." He thought it was depression. Turns out it was low testosterone, and his body was paying the price. Here's what most men don't realize. Testosterone doesn't just affect libido. It helps maintain the structure of the penile tissue itself, the strength, the thickness, the angle, the integrity. When it drops too low for too long, that tissue can begin to weaken, leading to that soft, lifeless feeling so many men are ashamed to admit. But here's the hope. Low testosterone is not the end. With proper lifestyle changes and sometimes medical support, your levels can improve naturally. And when testosterone rises, so does blood flow, so does firmness, and so does confidence. But testosterone is only part of the puzzle. Because even with strong hormones, if your blood vessels aren't open and responsive, nothing rises physically or emotionally. Let's talk about the third hidden cause: poor blood circulation. Because when it comes to your erections, your hormones can shout all they want. But if the blood doesn't come, nothing happens. An erection isn't magic, it's pressure, it's circulation. It's thousands of tiny blood vessels working together in perfect rhythm to bring blood in and hold it there. But after 60, that system begins to break down. Why? Because as we age, our blood vessels lose their flexibility. The inner lining, called the endothelium, becomes stiff, and the body produces less nitric oxide, the molecule that tells vessels to relax and let blood rush in. Without nitric oxide, those tiny arteries that feed your penis, they narrow. Blood flow slows. And even when you want to respond, your body simply can't. You're trying, but it's like turning the faucet on full blast and nothing but a drip comes out. I once had a patient named George, 72, retired school principal. He said, "Doc, my desire is still there. My mind is sharp, but down there, it's like a ghost town." We ran a simple ultrasound. His arteries were 40% more restricted than normal, especially in the pelvic region. That's when I told him, it's not in your head, it's in your circulation. And here's the powerful part. Blood vessels respond fast to care. When you reduce sugar, eat nitrate-rich foods like beets and greens, and move your body daily, you begin to reopen those tiny passageways. You revive what age has dulled. Because without blood, nothing rises, physically or emotionally. But we're not done yet. There's one more hidden factor almost no one talks about, and it's one of the most overlooked causes of a sagging, shrinking appearance: pelvic floor weakness. Let's take a look. Now here's a cause almost no one talks about, but every man over 60 should know: pelvic floor weakness. You've probably heard of Kegels, but thought they were just for women. The truth? Your pelvic floor is the foundation of your manhood, and when those muscles weaken, everything above them starts to sag. These muscles hold up the base of your penis, your bladder, and even your lower organs. And when they lose tone, you may notice a downward shift in erection angle, less rigidity, and a sunken appearance, even when aroused. One man told me, "It just doesn't stand up like it used to, doc. It leans, and I hate how that feels." He wasn't imagining it. Weak pelvic muscles can physically change the way your erection looks and feels. The good news? This is fully reversible. Just 5 minutes a day of simple, targeted Kegel exercises can restore tone, lift, and support. No equipment, no cost, just muscle reawakened. It's one of the fastest ways to reclaim lost strength and gain firmer, fuller erections, naturally. And now that we've uncovered all 4 hidden causes, there's one more thing you need to see before we talk about reversal. What this all actually feels like in real life. Because if you've been wondering, is this happening to me? Let me describe the most common symptom older men report and see if it sounds familiar. We call it the wheat bread penis. Let's talk about the symptom that finally makes most men pay attention. I call it the wheat bread penis. It might sound funny, but for men over 60, it's painfully real. You go to the bathroom, you look down, and instead of that firm, full, springy feel you remember, you see something soft, pale, flattened, lacking structure, almost like pressing your hand into a loaf of wheat bread. It's not just about size, it's about texture, density, presence. That strong, vascular feel, gone. Replaced by something that looks and feels less alive. This is what happens when blood flow drops, muscle tone disappears, and tissue elasticity weakens. It doesn't happen overnight. One day you just notice. It bends easier, feels thinner, doesn't push back the way it used to. And emotionally, that does something to a man. I've had patients say, "Doc, it feels like part of me is dissolving, like I'm still here, but not fully." That's the hard truth. But here's the turning point. This is not permanent. This isn't the final stage. Because just like a muscle, just like a vessel, this tissue can recover. Firmness can return. Thickness, even size. But you have to act before it fades too far. And that brings us to the most important part of this video. Reversal is possible, but only if you start now. Let me show you what's actually within your control. Here's the truth no one tells you. Most men never reverse these changes. Not because they can't, but because they don't know they can. They assume it's aging, they accept it, they give up. And by the time they're ready to fight back, the damage has gone too far. But I'm here to tell you, recovery is possible. I've seen it. Men in their late 60s, 70s, even early 80s walk into my clinic discouraged, ashamed, and walk out months later with real change. More firmness, more size, more life. Not because of pills, not because of surgery, because they understood what was happening and took action. But time is critical. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Because tissue atrophy, plaque buildup, and hormone resistance compound over time. What could take 3 months to fix at 61 might take over a year at 71, if it's even possible at all. That's why I always say this to my patients. You're not broken, you're buried, and you can dig yourself out. But only if you start now, not tomorrow, not next year. Now, because the sooner you address the real causes, the sooner you rebuild circulation, muscle tone, testosterone balance, and tissue support, the faster your manhood responds. And it's not just about sex, it's about identity, energy, confidence, wholeness. So how do you do it? In the next section, I'll give you the exact 4 pillars I use with my patients, the same ones that have helped hundreds of older men restore their erections, strength, and pride. Let's break them down one by one. Now let's get practical. If you want to restore what age has quietly taken from you, you need to rebuild the foundation. And that means working on 4 key pillars, not 1, not 2, but all 4. Because when these systems align, results follow. Naturally, consistently, and powerfully. Pillar 1, circulation. This is the lifeblood, literally. Without healthy blood flow, nothing happens down there. Here's what helps. Walk at least 30 minutes a day to stimulate vascular flow, eliminate excess sugar, which damages blood vessels. Eat nitrate-rich foods like beets, spinach, pomegranate, and arugula. They increased nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for penile dilation. I had a patient, Alan, 64. He started drinking beet juice every morning and added 3 walks a week. After 6 weeks, he told me, "Doc, I'm waking up harder than I have in years." Pillar 2, testosterone. You've heard about it, but are you actually supporting it? You don't need injections right away. Start here. Lift weights 2 to 3 times a week, even just bodyweight squats and push-ups. Sleep at least 7 to 8 hours a night. Poor sleep destroys testosterone. Get sunlight or take vitamin D. It's crucial for hormone production. You'd be surprised how quickly your drive returns when your levels start to climb. Pillar 3, pelvic floor strength. This is the base that holds it all up. Strong pelvic muscles mean better support, higher angle, improved control. Your tool, Kegel exercises, yes, they work for men, and they work fast. Here's the drill. Contract the muscles you'd use to stop a stream of urine. Hold for 5 seconds, relax for 5 seconds, repeat 10 times twice a day. That's it. No equipment, no gym, just results. Pillar 4, metabolic health. This one gets overlooked, but it's massive. Because when your blood sugar is unstable or your belly fat increases, it affects your circulation, your testosterone, and your nervous system. Here's what to do. Cut processed carbs and fried foods. Eat more whole foods. Fish, greens, healthy fats. Focus on losing visceral fat, especially in the lower belly. Remember that pubic fat pad? Reducing it even slightly can reveal up to 1.5 inches of buried length. These 4 pillars, circulation, testosterone, pelvic strength, and metabolic health, they work together. One without the others won't fix the problem. But when all 4 are in place, your body responds, your erections return, and so does your confidence. Now, before we close, let me share something personal, because there's one thing I hear over and over from my older patients, and it's something you need to hear now, while you still have time. Let's listen to their stories. Let me tell you what I hear almost every week in my office. It's not, "I wish I'd taken more pill," or "I wish I'd bought that supplement sooner." It's this: "I wish I had known this at 50. I thought it was just age. I didn't know I could do something about it. If I had started earlier, I wouldn't have lost so much." These are men who served their families, led their careers, worked hard their whole lives. But no one told them that their most private strength was slowly being buried by time, fat, and neglect. One of my patients, Leonard, 73, told me through tears, "I spent years thinking it was just over, that I had to settle for less. I didn't realize I could fight for it, and now I'm finally starting to feel like myself again." Another man, Greg, 69, had silently withdrawn from his wife, not because he didn't love her, but because he felt ashamed. He said, "I didn't feel like a man anymore. I didn't know I could get that back." And now he has, with nothing but food, movement, and simple daily effort. These stories aren't rare. They're everywhere. But they're not talked about because men have been trained to suffer in silence. But you don't have to. What if your best years aren't behind you, but waiting just beneath the surface? And what if today was the day you decided to dig? Because trust me, the men who start now don't just reclaim size, they reclaim pride, closeness, and life. And that brings us to the final message. What you do right now matters more than anything you've done before. Let's finish strong. You still have time. The man you were isn't gone. He's waiting to return, not through pills, not through shame, but through simple, consistent action, starting today. Every inch you restore, every ounce of confidence you regain, begins with one decision: to believe you can change. So if this spoke to you, if even one part of this felt familiar, let me know in the comments by typing, "I'm taking it back." And if you haven't already, click like, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell, because this is just the beginning. In our next video, I'll show you exactly how to do Kegel exercises, step by step, to rebuild pelvic strength and lift your manhood from the inside out. Until then, take care of yourself. You're not broken, you're rebuilding, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way.